day has come. Right then. Are you taking the bus, Lily? No. Lily motions to a large suitcase standing beside her. I'll have to take this with me, so I booked a taxi. I'll meet us at the school gates in about 5 minutes. Ah, I see. Lily reaches down and feels out the handle of her suitcase. Its weight causes her somewhat difficulty, so I quickly offer to take it myself. That is awfully kind of you, Sal. She has no qualms about accepting, and I end up picking it up. It's not what I'd call light, but it's not exactly heavy either. I don't think you'll have too much trouble carrying it. Well, thank you then. We should hurry through if the taxi leaves. Then it will take quite a while to book a new one. Are you ready to not go? Yeah, let's go. We rush to the gate as fast as we can, only to find the taxi has yet to arrive. Well, nothing like a bit of exercise in the morning. The nurse told me that I should be doing that. I think you probably had other things in mind, Sal, like going to that goddamn pool. And probably with more regularity. You intend to be helping people with their luggage every day? Oh, I guess not. Looks like we got a bit to wait anyway. How long should we wait for the taxi before calling them again? I would say about 10 minutes, but they never let me down before. There's probably just a little traffic. Okay then. So how long is the flight to Scotland? About 16 hours if I remember correctly. It's a bit hard to tell it without changing time zones. So long. It's now that I realize Hanako's been unusually quiet, even for her. She doesn't handle stress so well, so she looks really uptight. Yeah, I can imagine being on a plane for that long. I can't imagine being on a plane for that long. I've only ever flown on a short family holiday up north, so it's really quite hard to fathom. If Hanako spent so much of her childhood at an orphanage, she probably traveled very little, let alone flown. I've flown like... I wonder how many times I've flown. I think 3 times, maybe. Maybe more, I don't remember actually. Cause, whatever. It's not too bad. I'll spend most of it either asleep or catching up on my English. I hardly use it. I use that here, so I need to refamiliarize myself with it a little. Will your accent be a problem? I wouldn't worry about that too much. It may be an issue initially, but I should be fine once I get used to it. We all moved to sit down on the bench beside the school gate in silence. Strangely enough, even though I know that Lily is going away, I can't think of anything to say to her. Lily is a reliable person, so it might be because she isn't the one that I'm thinking of most. Lily might not be able to see it when Anako is chewing her fingernails nervously. I moved to talk to her, but can hear an engine straining up the hill before I can get the chance. Ah, I think the taxi is on the way. Well spotted, Sal. I only just heard it as well. A small wave of pride washes over me. To have noticed something at the same time as Lily must mean that I've become more aware of my surroundings. Anyway, we won't have to call the taxi company, nor worry about missing Lily's train. Once the taxi stops, we're standing, the driver rolls down the window and leans over. After confirming that yes, Lily is the same Lisa Tao that booked the trip, we sort out her luggage. How will she, get on the plane? Does she have, a guide to help her out? The driver opens the trunk of the taxi and takes Lily's suitcase, with Lily climbing into the back seat as he loads it, into the trunk and slams it shut. After getting back into the seat and shutting at the doors, we wait for us to say our farewells. Have a safe trip, Lily. Take care of yourself. Hanako looks understandably downcast, and that much is obvious even in her voice. Of course I will. I'll be back before long, don't worry. There will still be another person here for you too, won't there, Sao? Yeah, of course. I turn to smile to Hanako, putting my hand on her shoulder. Why does he do that a lot? He does that like all the time. He puts his hand on her shoulder or something. She only manages to keep an eye contact with me for a couple of seconds. Her cheeks red all the while, before turning back to Lily. Come on, dude. How do you not know? See you, Lily. Goodbye. Lily gives her farewells to the both of us with a fair measure of reluctance. Without further ado, the driver starts the engine once more and begin to journey down the hill and towards the airport. The two of us stand at the gates for a long time, even after they disappeared from the sight, not really knowing what to do. So what do you want to do? I don't know. Here we go. Make it or break it. You really need to be careful here. This is the last part. This is really... You do not want to choose... How will we call it a day? You want to go to the city. You want to go to the city. I'm telling you, you want to go to the city. The bus stop standing by the school gates like mute sentinel. Wait, oh. I just want to make sure. Alright, good. Beginning of the... See, this is why. This is why you want to go to the city. The bus stop standing by the school gate like a mute sentinel puts a strange idea in my mind. Do you want to head into town and look for a bookshop or something? We had the rest of the day free. It's a long shot as Hanako doesn't like going to the city. I count the fact that we managed to get her out of there even when it was so dark as a small miracle, but I genuinely want to spend most of the time with her. Anyway, she's lucky just to refuse to go back to. Okay. Really? Really, let's go. Can't work out why Hanako has decided to agree with me, but I'm not going to ask her to change her mind. Stepping off the bus, I immediately noticed that a lot of people around us. In hindsight, it should have been obvious. Of course, lots of people will be downtown on a Saturday afternoon. Oh, it's Al, you're on a date with Hanako. Hanako retreats close to my side, and I can feel her hand clutching my arm tightly. Her body is held against mine, and her head is bowed so low that her hat hides most of her scarring. So, where shall we go? A bookshop? Hanako's present and my other general living expense has pretty much drained my budget. But I should be able to afford a few bucks. There's something I try to reserve a few funds for anyway. For a second I think Hanako didn't hear me, but then I looked to my side and noticed her nodding again, almost imperceptibly. Okay. Do you have one? Do you know of one? Actually, I do. We passed a few of them when Lily and I were looking for your presents, you know, for your birthday. Naoko's expression clouds a fraction. I'm gonna remember to stop bringing up her birthday. We both spend a lot of time? Or maybe I misjudged the situation. We wanted to make sure we got the right present after all. Naoko smiles and blushes a bit. It's a small treasure, when she does. Anyway, there should be a bookshop just up ahead. You want to check it out? Sure. As the crowd starts to build as we head towards the bookshop, along the raised walkway, Naoko latches her other arm onto me. making our progress a little slower. As we walk, the sound of traffic makes me think of a possible distraction for her. I was wondering, Nako, have you thought yet of when you're gonna learn to drive? Driving? Yeah, you're kind of lucky in that way. There aren't a whole lot of students in Malka that are allowed to drive. It's not the best topic of conversation, but I try and distract Nako from the situation. She's really high-strung right now. And again, all I've really done is make her feel awkward, since she's probably never thought about it. I wish I hadn't said anything. Before long, we are before one of the bookshops Lily and I passed by during our search. What kind of self-respecting bookshop closes on Saturdays? Bookshops don't have much money anymore because of the internet. Maybe they just have to close over the weekend. She seems pretty knowledgeable about technology. I guess it's a pursuit that would lend itself well to someone who enjoys solitude. Huh, I guess that makes sense. It's easier to find books online. Anyway, it looks like the idea is shot. Anything else you'd like to do? If it's not a bother, can you show me where you bought my present? Sure, not a problem. It's not far from here. See, it's right there. I head off in the direction of the store, only a half-sure of its exact location. I don't want to repeat the last time spending half the day walking around aimlessly. Here we are, Othello's Antiques. It's small. Well, yes, it took Lily and I some time to find it. Can we go in? No. I don't see why not, it's open. Nako pushes through the door and enters before me. Once again, the store is empty, save for the store owner. His face drops a little when he sees me. Oh, you're not here for a return, are you? Wait, that's not the girl you had with you last time. No, we're not. Chair, please. We're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look in here. The store owner considers this for quite a time. I guess you're not used to high school students coming to his shop on a regular basis. Might this be a friend you bought gifts for? I don't remember his voice either. That's right. They were presents for her, even though I did this like yesterday. The store owner turns to Nako, who freezes on the spot like a deer caught in the headlights. He moves to address her but stops before doing so, looking a little taken aback. He catches himself staring and looks to the side, addressing us indirectly. His expression is awkward and tense, as is his entire body. You fuck. I want to be mad at him, but I know full well that I had the same instinctive reaction when I first saw her. First surprise, then curiosity, then an awkward look away. I dealt with what I seen. Yep. Nako looks less panicked than before. But I think the feeling she's giving off now is worse. It's not anger nor annoyance. If anything, it's one of apology. You're lucky there, young lady, to have friends that care about you as much as they do. Thank you. If I hadn't spent so much time with Nako, I wouldn't even realize that she said anything. And again, the store owner's mumbles had hardly clear either, thanks in the part to being directed away from us. Nako strikes out into the store, gazing in wonder at the various items on display. She finds the doll section and spends lingering minutes studying each and every one. It's a side of Hanako I've only barely been introduced to. I was astonished when Lily said that she liked dolls, and even more so to find her collection sitting on her dresser. She looks a little bit better now that she's distracted and out of the store's owner's sight. I'm still quite put off by the whole experience. I might have my own problems, but I never had strangers react to me like that, as if I was something completely alien to them. This is a nice shop. Yeah, it's not what I expected. Do you want to buy something? I didn't bring any money. Well, we can always come again. Now that I know where to find it, that is. What, we can? Of course. You can come here as often as you'd like. Thank you. You don't need to thank me. I almost forgot where this place was. I don't really think either of us completely believe in what we're saying, but rather we're just repeating what we think we should say. Can we go back to school now? Sure thing, let's go. As we leave for the bus stop, I see the store owner peek through the curtain at the back of the shop. I'm not really sure what the glance he gives to her says. It feels a bit weird, and the fact that Hanako didn't see it both a relief and a bit frustrating. Hanako and I stopped walking once we reached the concrete area between the dormitory building. There was barely a word said between us and on the way back from the city. Well then, goodbye. Do you want some tea or something? How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly. I'm tired. Maybe later. I've got homework. She sounds a little depressed. Hanako obviously does want to do more, but I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She missed quite a few days of lessons. Homework. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a side to do as well. I'll see you tomorrow. I also have homework, but it's 1 in the morning, and I don't feel like doing it. See you, Sal. Before I can say goodbye, Hanako has turned and begun walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory. I look at the door. She disappears for a bit before going off towards my own. Well, Sal, you did it. You had a date with Hanako. Today was a tiring day. Act 4. Scars. I woke up, took my pills, and had a nice shower. Quickly slipped on my uniform, ate a tasty breakfast, grabbed my bag, and headed off, all as per my usual daily routine. It was only after arriving in class that the normality of the day was thrown off. After taking my seat, I watched my classmates trickle in the classroom over the next hour, until every empty seat was eventually taken, other than Hanako's. I can never get used to the idea that she just doesn't show up to class every now and then. And again, it feels all the more worrying now as well, given the fact that Lily's left. As Metal continues to drone on, I find my gaze flicking every so often over to her seat, as if she might appear there any moment now. Nobody else seems to care at all about her absence, but they have little reason to. Hanako being absent from class, after all, is perfectly normal. Or at least it was. Her attendance hasn't been all that bad from what I've seen in my time here, but it was apparently much more spotty beforehand. This is also an ominous time for her to be gone. It's the day before her birthday, and my suspicions are starting to rise. After the breakdown she had in class when it was mentioned, an increasing amount of my thought is taken up by how much I can help her, but in the end I can feel like I can't do anything. A bell heralding the beginning of lunchtime rings out, shaking me out of my thoughts. A collective sigh of relief can be heard from the classroom. Metallic look quite put off. He dislikes being interrupted in the middle of class of his exciting lectures, after all. Just when I'm wondering what I should do on lunch break, given that Naoko and Lily aren't here, the solution presents itself. Afternoon, Ichan. Afternoon, Misha, Shizune. You both look bright as ever. Shitan wants to know if you want to have lunch with us today. Sure, it will be good to have some company. Cafeteria hummed with activity, much like my old schools did. Yamaku's different though, in how strangely civilized the lunchtime rush is. What one would expect to be unruly mom chomping at a bit to get to the serving area is rather a neat and organized line. There's a small amount of jostling, and people's heads are often craning around to check out what's happening up ahead, but it's pretty subdued. This is due to, no doubt, to various serious rules regarding such matters in the school. There seems strict discipline and observance when students move in the hallway, or come to and from the dormitories at the school. While the reasons for it may be slightly off-putting, I've come to quite like the sense of order that's enforced in the school. I didn't really like being told by Shizune and Misha to get their lunches though. I feel a little used as I take my seat at the table where they're sitting, plunking their food down in front of them. Sweet bread and strawberry milk for Misha, a bowl of ramen and juice for Shizune. I heave a sigh of relief as I put it all down, under significant difficulty at carrying it in all addition to my own lunch. Thank you. Misha claps her hands together before popping open the wrapper and digging into her bread ravenously. Shizune simply gives an appreciative nod before giving her steaming ramen a stir and blowing it a little to cool it down. I open my lunch, another packet of sweetbread, and take a bite before washing it down with some juice. The bread is very sweet, so much that I end up forcing myself to stomach it just to experience it over with. Midway through, I decide to take a break from the difficult task and ask what's on my mind. So, I'm guessing you two had a reason to drag me down here. You two seem to always have an ulterior motive, after all. What are you saying, fan? We won't have any effort. Her mouth is full of sweetbread as she speaks. It's a pretty unpleasant sight. Shizune looks a little grossed out before going back to eating her ramen. I wait until Misha swallows what she has in her mouth before speaking again. You're not buttering me up to make me work with you after school. Nope. Not trying to extract information from me that I might not want to give? Nuh-uh. Fine, you win. I guess you just wanted to eat lunch with someone as intelligent and handsome as me then. Whoa there, Sal. That's right. That's it, Hichan. You got it. Shizune looks unimpressed as Misha finishes signing our conversation and sucks in the last of the long noodle as she signs her own thoughts. Shitan says you shouldn't be so suspicious of us. She's just doing her duty as a class representative at all. Is all. How is she, are you doing that? As much as I hate to admit it, it looks as if I have trouble communicating with Shizune still. It should be a simple matter of keeping eye contact with her and addressing Shizune, instead of Misha in my speech. But when somebody else is doing the talking for her, it's a surprisingly difficult task. This is a class representative's job to ensure everybody's doing alright in class, isn't it? Not really? Wait. How is me getting your food ensuring I'll go well in class? Shizune huffs and adjusts her glasses approvingly. So this is the thanks we get for giving you companionship during lunchtime. As a total dodge to the question. Wait, hang on. How do you know that Lily's away and Hanako's absent, and since those two are the only people you hang around with, you also made it kind of obvious to see. Ouch. I may have well done so, but she did need to rub it in. Maybe this is payback for before. Right. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. And that isn't sarcasm. The two nodded and we get back to finishing our meals. It feels a little embarrassing to be accompanied just because they notice I was lonely. But it isn't as if they're trying it isn't as if they're strangers either. It isn't long before I finish the last of my bread and start on my last of my juice. And I do so. I find my mind wandering back to what I've been thinking about before the two interrupted my train of thought. It feels like I'm the only one in class that so much acknowledges Hinako not being there. It felt like this the other times he skipped class, but now it's even more acutely annoying. Does nobody care if she's happy or not? Have they just written off any possibility of helping to make her better? Even Matao doesn't try to keep her in class. I'm still not wholly convinced by his reasoning. Hey Chad, is your juice past expiry date? What? You're pulling a weird face like this. As if it were needed. Misha mimics my own expression. Her exaggeration makes me grimace, though. Shizune at least takes some amusement from it. I was just thinking about Hanako. Oh? Misha's interest is piqued, and so is Shizune's. Once my words are interpreted for... I'm just worried about her being absent so often. Especially now, though, that with her birthday coming around, sit in class are still fresh in their minds, their faces. Do you know anything about Hanako? Anything that might help? Mija shrugs and looks at June, who mulls on this for a while. The only people she ever talked to for more than a sentence or two are you and Lily. June may not be able to convey Lily's name in a tone of speech, but I feel as if it comes through in her sign language, the effect is lost. However, after Misha's interpretation, there are a couple things we know about Hanako as student council members, thanks to the records that pass through our hands, but we can't say anything about what's in them. Understandable. It sounds a lot like the nurse's patient's confidentiality. Every time I find someone that knows something about Hanako's past, it turns up being a dead end. The only way I'll ever find out is by asking her. I don't know if she'll let me know such things, but it's for her sake. I have to at least try. Don't worry about it, Hichan. It happens every year after all. That doesn't remove my sense of worry at all. I still feel a little at fault for what happened in class. But this feels like it goes further, even without their confirmation of the fact. Misha drops my troubled expression, her own usually happy and reassuring face dropping. Everyone has problems they have to deal with, right, Hichan? Yeah, I just wish I could help Nako more with hers. With that, the conversation trails off on a depressing note. Eventually, Misha manages to pick up the mood back up through her usual bright and bubbly antics. My mind remains focused on Nako. I'll go check on her later. I make sure my door is locked after dropping off my school bag. The dorms are quiet, and Tao keeps me occupied longer than I expected, discussing my studies after classes ended and pressing on me some worksheets to give to Hanako, almost as an afterthought. I think Oh, absorbing in thought, I'm late in registering the shadow that appears in front of me. Looking up reveals the owner of the said shadow. Hey man, haven't seen you in a while. Oh, hi. What's with that response? My absent-minded greatly visibly annoys him. I'd probably have had the same reaction. It's really just thinking about a lot of stuff. Thinking is a pretty poor excuse to not be aiding the war effort. And how goes the war? I'm preparing. Right now I need money to help with those preparations. If you want me to loan money, just say it. No man, I'm good. You're good? You don't want my money? Hey man, don't look so surprised, it's insulting. I'm pretty big in the competitive bowling scene, but yesterday I found some guys who didn't know that. I'm barely sure that betting would be against the school rules. School rules don't matter. This is a war situation. People these days have no appreciation for what war means. So what do you need this money for? Dare I ask. Non-perishable canned food, building materials, mostly corrugated iron and wood panels, first aid kit, camping heater, portable radio, sleeping bag, flashlight, mechanical clock. At first it strikes me as a rather random assortment of objects and materials, but after a few seconds it clicks. Isn't that a list of materials for a fallout shelter? Ah, so you read the protective and survival booklet. It's good to see someone so knowledgeable about how to protect themselves. You don't seriously think it's a non-zero possibility? No, I'm pretty sure there's a zero possibility of that ever happening. They slowly and dramatically raised an eyebrow. Well, as dramatically as one can raise an eyebrow. The chance is, I don't know 0.1 to the trillionth place. It is infinitesimal. Besides, where can you build a fallout shelter anyways? It's certainly not on campus. It's my summer holiday project while I'm at home. My dad said I can do it. Really? Yeah, I thought it'll improve my crafting skills and manual dexterity or something. Knowing Kenji's dad, he probably just thought it might keep him out of his hair for a while. Still, it does make me wonder what his parents are like. Maybe they're totally normal and Kenji is just an aberration. On the other hand, maybe this kind of paranoia and fearful survivalism runs in the family. Hey, wanna help me build it? You're kind of type to be handy with tools. If I had your help, we could really make a badass bunker instead of a fallout shelter. I doubt that. Playing soccer before my accident gave me good work, but I've never really tried my hand at anything approaching real handiwork. I'm not really. I'm busy over the holidays anyways, I'm afraid. Ah, shame. If the feminists ever get a hold of launch codes, I fear that so few will be prepared. And your fallout shelter will protect you from a nuclear bomb explosion. In the case that this does happen, a fallout shelter isn't meant to protect them against the blast. That's what the blast shelter is for. I thought you knew better. My mistake. My home is pretty far away from the major military sites, so the fallout following a nuclear exchange is bigger concern than the blast itself. What this will do is keep the dust and other particulates away from me, my food supply, and my sleeping area. It's gotta last me at least 14 days though. 14 days is a pretty long time. It is. I need 1 liter of water a day for drinking. 2 optimally so that I can wash as well. Toiletries eaten enough, just garbage bags and a bin placed outside the shelter area. Food means canned supplies, of course. Of course, and the radio is for outside communication. Right. So I can pick up the government alerts on what's going on outside. I need a mechanical clock rather than an electric one in case the electromagnetic pulse from the nuclear output airburst fries it too. That's all the other stuff I need as well, like extra clothing, matches, candles. I think they still have to gather it all, though, maybe. As much as I hate to have to say it, I'm a little impressed. They really researched this and thought it through. And again, I don't know if I want to live in a post-apocalyptic world with only people like Kenji have survived. It sounds like you really know what you're doing. Damn right I do. It must have been hard living in constant fear like this. He hardly ever socialized either, so the fact that he went bowling like others is itself something of surprise. This mentally reminds me of a little of a certain someone. Thankfully, her fear of others doesn't manifest in such a distinctive, eccentric way. One thing I know for sure is that I certainly can't tell him exactly why I haven't been hanging out around him with much recently. It's late, I have stuff to do. I'll think about making a fallout shelter or something around, though. Yeah, alright, that's cool. A man has to do what he's gotta do after all. You should hang out with me sometime. By the way, you're a cool dude. Cool dudes should hang out together, right? For some reason, that compliment actually feels kinda nice. The situation with Tanako being what it is, though, means that I probably won't be able to fill his request for now, at least. That'd be good. I'll talk to you later about when I can. Cool, later, dude.
He retreats
To his dormitory room. I'd better get to Yanako next time.